This is the Rebel Scum Podcast. Available in video on YouTube and audio wherever you listen to your podcasts. Every week, Brock and James talk the latest rumors, news, and theories from a galaxy far, far away. Support us on Patreon for exclusive offers and join the Star Wars discussion. Patreon.com/RebelScumPodcast. Here are your hosts, Brock and James.
You always scum. Rebel scum.
Oh, it's been a long time, been a long time,
It's been a while.
long time. Welcome back to the Rebel Scum Podcast. We're pulling away the cobwebs because we're back at it again, talking Star Wars. My name is Brock. This is
James Rock.
Woo, 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 woo. Hello to everyone in the chat. We're back. Nothing happened in Star Wars.
Well, like things did happen. We lost
Things
an
happened.
actor. We lost an actor. An actor passed
That's
away
true.
while we were gone. Which, by the way, so when I saw it, I saw a tweet and someone would go, "This is a lie," and then somebody said, "Actually," and then I was like, "Oh man, that was kind of sad." Ray Stevenson passed
that's
away.
right.
Let's start the show on a downer. No, Heidi coming in with the heat story about the Leafs. Hello from a month ago. I was on the plane about to land, and the people in front of us paid for the internet, and they were giving us updates on the score. And I never want to hear from those people ever again.
Las Vegas Golden Knights, Stanley Cup winners. Wow. Wow. So, yeah, sports. Yeah. All right. There he is.
My internet went. My internet did not appreciate the Leaf joke, and does not care about the Vegas Golden Knights whatsoever.
You froze. You're like,
Oh, what? Mine was the black, and it was circled with the
nice,
background.
nice.
Both of yours went first, and then mine. And I was like, it's my internet. Anyway, Star Wars. Look. So yeah, we had the Ray Stevenson thing. I first found out about him in Rome, the show Rome.
Yeah.
And of course, he played one of my favorite comic characters, Punisher in Warzone, and then Star Wars is going to be in Ahsoka. Going to probably be a big part of Ahsoka. But anyway, we should move on to. I mean, it was very unfortunate. They still don't have a cause of death, I don't believe, so we won't dwell on it unless you want to.
Yeah. No. I'm excited to see what he does in Ahsoka this August. It's gonna be a fun show. And he was a great actor. So yeah.
And he seemed like at Celebration. I mean, I wasn't there. I didn't really watch much of it, but it seemed like he was very excited about it. So
oh yeah.
I think he was on set in Rome, in Italy somewhere, and something happened. So it's unfortunate. But Star Wars is what we're going to talk about. We're going to keep it positive on Star Wars now. Star Wars Outlaws, Brock.
Yo, that game looks awesome. It's super awesome.
I'm not excited about it.
Why?
Because I don't have $900 to buy a new console. So because I was like, I'm not watching this trailer out of spite, and then Fantasia's like, you have to see it, and I watched it, and I was like, oh man,
yeah, it looks really good.
But it's only going to be next gen consoles, which I guess are the now gen. Yeah, it makes sense, but I can't. I'm just like I haven't played Jedi Survivor, obviously, and now I'm not going to play this. I'm so behind the eight ball. This game looks like the game that I think maybe you and Fantasia have wanted since we started this podcast.
Yeah. I saw that video of I don't know what the ship that K Vest flies in this one. It looks like the Falcon, of course. But she got in it, flew away, went into the atmosphere, and you fly into space. And it's not a cutscene. you were just flying straight up, and then you're in like outside the planet, and
Yeah, that
immediately
was
get
awesome.
attacked by like a TIE fighter. I'm like, who? I mean, I assume. I mean, everyone's talking about like that is you flying it. That's not just some cutscene getting you to that. It's
Yeah.
like, if it is, that's fine too. I didn't hate it, but like, I was like, whoo, that's fun. It's open sandbox for sure on this one. That's very, very exciting.
So open sandbox means you just do whatever you want. Like there's a
Yep.
story, but you don't have to follow the story. Is this
Yeah,
for
pretty well. Yeah.
people for like because I need you to know that last night I played Mario Brothers: The Lost Levels, and this is like as far as I get with my technology. No, but like so because like everyone's like open world and like is Mario Odyssey an open world?
Yes, in
No,
the
yes,
sense, kind of, sort of. I mean, I guess maybe not, because like Mario Odyssey is really no different from like Mario 64, where you go into a picture and you're
yes.
in a world and there's like a hub world. So it's like, the closest thing I'm trying to think what you would have played. Did you ever play Grand Theft Auto 5? Any of those
No,
games?
no, but that's I know Grand Theft Auto, but I don't really
Yeah.
know.
So
Like,
like that would be one case of
I've
open
never played a
sandbox.
Grand Theft Auto. I've
Oh
seen people
wow.
play it. I've seen
Yeah.
people play. It's just not. See, a Star Wars open world, I would be interested in
Mhm.
because I like Star Wars. Grand Theft Auto, I'm not into Grand Theft or Auto, so it doesn't appeal to me whatsoever. But this game looked, yeah, this was the game that like every time we're like, why aren't they making Star Wars games? This was the game that I think we've all kind
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
been like, this is what we need, and it came out of nowhere too, which was kind of exciting.
Yeah.
Which all the best Star Wars comes out of nowhere.
Yeah, I mean, like keep in mind they're saying like summer 2024, but let's be I mean, they do have gameplay, so maybe we should be a little bit more optimistic, but like and a game like this looks awesome already, so it's like, well, if you need a little extra time, take it. I feel like a lot of game designers are doing that. Like there's so many constant like we're just pushing this back, and it's not even a matter of like perhaps they've screwed something up, but it's not usually they've just like, no, we need more time with this. Like, we need to get this figured out. Like, so
Well, I
take
know
as much
there's
time. It looks good.
yeah, like there's a new Gollum game out, like a Lord of the Rings Gollum. I knew nothing about it, and one day everybody just complained about it, and
Right.
I was like, oh, is this like a thing? And I guess they had to like apologize the next day because it wasn't ready for release, but they were
Oh
forced
yeah.
to like get it out there. So it was like an unfinished game went out. And I know a lot of
Yeah.
people felt like complained about the first Battlefront, which I had a lot of fun with. That was different, but yeah, it's like don't give me an unfinished game, just make the game and then do it. That being said, though, don't give me Star Wars Eclipse where you announce a game and it's been 365
Yeah.
years later,
Yeah.
and I think that thing might have gone the way of the dodo. But like, don't announce something that we're not going to get. Like, give it, like, announce it with due time, right? So I hope they're close to it. I hope if it's not summer 2024, it's Christmas 2024 or
Yeah.
whatever, or yeah, just don't tease us with something that's never going to come to fruition.
That looks really good. Like this is like if it was just the trailer of like the cinematics or the story or whatever, I'd be like, sure. But we saw gameplay, like actual stuff. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, looks exciting. But you're right. It's like if you don't have next gen stuff right now, it's like you're kind of up shit creek. But
Which I'm not like complaining because I
yeah,
understand the way it works. I'm just
yeah,
saying I can't at the moment pony up $900
yeah,
or 500, whatever it is.
yeah,
It's more than the 100 and the 99.99 I paid
yeah,
for my Sega Genesis with Ren and Stimpy. It's a
yeah,
little bit more than that.
yeah.
No,
I
I
mean,
used to pay for consoles with paper route money, man.
yeah, but like it's
16.
yeah, it's stuff like this that really push me to get to a Steam Deck, which is like it's a handheld console that's basically a Linux computer if you plug it into a monitor and can basically get every game plus every emulator for older
You
games.
have a
So it's
Steam Deck?
no, I don't. I want to get one.
Oh,
So that runs you like
okay.
$600-$700, but if I can play all the games across platforms, it sounds like a console killer to me. So Who knows? It's a
Yeah,
year away.
Is it? Oh, the game or
Yeah, game. So it's like we're in no rush to figure anything out. So.
what you're saying about Steam Deck being a console killer, I would agree, except for that people are weirdly loyal to their brands, right? Like, I like my Sony, I like my Microsoft, I like my Apple, I like my Samsung, I like my LG. Like it's like very loyal. It's very strange. Like the Apple headphones probably going to sell a bazillion units just because people are like, I need it. Which, by the way, again, if that was affordable, I would have it on my face right now, and I'd be talking to you from actual Tatooine.
I don't know, man. It's just like if you can tell me I can get PS5 games and Nintendo and Xbox stuff on one thing, and it's slightly cheaper than the current, like I'm like. Plus, it's a computer. It's basic. It's like legit a computer. I work with guys that have used it on site for like corporate meeting control computers. I'm like, whoa. So, yeah, I mean, if you're gonna spend up to, you're looking at like $700 to $900, depending. Like, in a year, if we're like, oh, I really need to play this game, like the consoles could have come down. That's one good thing I will say about like PlayStation and Xbox. Their games come down in price. Nintendo, not so much.
Nintendo
Oh,
is the
good
Nintendo.
God.
Yeah, I know. My cousins all got like their kids like, and then the Switch, and they're like, what games? I'm like, you have to wait. There's like 3 times a year when they go on sale,
true.
and if you don't pounce, you've got to wait another 3 to 6 months, and that's it. And this year there seems to be like an extra, like right now the games are on sale right now, which is weird. But like I'm like, you got to strike, and if you buy their Christmas and birthday presents all at once, if that's what you want, because Mario games, they're not Zelda games, like all Nintendo games, first party games, they're not going down in price ever. But yeah, I that's the thing. This game will probably be like, well, I guess they don't do it anymore, but like the free on the PS Plus thing, when they like I got Squadrons for free. Yeah. Which was a lot cheaper, but it's good. Like these games will go on sale eventually. You'll get it for like $30, $40, and it'll be the game of the year edition with all the add-ons.
Exactly. Yeah. Something like this has vibes of like the old school Star Wars Galaxy like PC game that like you could do a lot of DLC on it, which
will piss people off.
Well, it's just like people pick and choose what they're mad about with DLC.
That's true.
It's like no one ever complains about like Breath of the Wild DLC, and I'm sure stuff will come out for Tears of the Kingdom or what's that game where they're like dinosaur, like it's Metal Horizons. Like there's tons of DLC for that, and people will buy it. So
yeah, and I was saying when I got Battlefront, like a year later, I got Overwatch, and I like them both. They're both the same game.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Overwatch kept having this. It was like the exact same thing where they're like, buy this. I'm like, I'm not buying that. Yeah. Nobody complained about it. Everyone's like, Overwatch is the best game ever. Battlefront sucks. You got to pay for stuff. Like, I don't know. They want me to pay for the same thing. And I'm not.
Fortnite constantly puts out new skins for you to buy, or I don't know how it fully works with that game. But it's just like, yeah, go ahead.
No, I was going to say Fortnite's free, though. That's the difference, I think, is you don't have to pay to play Fortnite. You have to pay for all the added crap.
Still,
that's how they get it. That's how they get it. Oh no, it's brilliant. It's genius. It is a genius game.
I've pumped so much money into Pokemon Go. You have no idea. But like,
I miss playing that with you.
Yeah, the beauty of like the games today is like if they do by mistake or by design put out a broken game, it does get fixed at some point. You just don't sell like crazy right off the top. So,
which I mean, they will get fixed, but just maybe wait a little bit and let the game developers finish your game before pushing. Like the Gollum game, I know nothing about this game like at all, but like late May, early June, whenever it came out, seems like a meh time to release something. Like, what's the excitement? End of the school year? Like, I don't like. I see if like you're pushing for like the Christmas season and whatnot, but I don't know. It just felt like, why are you rushing to get it out in June? Maybe I'm the only one. I don't really like playing video games in the summer. I'm not a big video gamer in the summer because I like being outside and all that stuff. But like, I don't know. It just seems. Although when I was younger, I played a lot. Yeah, I did play a lot in the summer.
Yeah, well, it's like you don't have a wrong opinion on that, but it's like also Tears of the Kingdom came out a month ago and it's Zelda. So it's like,
Yeah, no, I would give
doesn't
Zelda
make
a pass. Like Zelda and Mario, I'd give a pass because they're Nintendo. They're never going to go down in price anyway.
what is everyone's problem with the Golden
I
game?
guess
'Cause
it's not finished or something. It looks
Oh, I see.
terrible.
It's
I don't really
broken.
know.
Yeah. Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, and they had to put a apology letter out. The
Okay.
company. It's like, geez, just I don't like. Obviously, they knew it wasn't ready, and they just were
Yeah.
like, "We're gonna get money because people want Lord of the Rings." That Amazon show really was a hit. Did you hear only like 30% of the viewers stayed till the end of that series?
For what?
Lord of the Rings.
Oh, yeah.
Rings of Power.
It wasn't bad. I liked it. There's a lot going on.
Yeah, I
But,
actually kind of enjoyed it. It was more like I thought it was like the books and that it was kind of slow and it was just kind of like doing what it does. Like, this is what the books were. There's like 4 pages of hearing about how grass grows. Like whatever. What was I gonna say? Heidi watched season 3 of the match. She binged it with her sister like
Nice.
this week, and she said in a tweet, Heidi, I'm gonna paraphrase, that she thought it worked better all at once because
Oh,
it was
very
like
nice.
I want to get to the next episode,
Mhm.
and I think I've been saying it all year is like I thought 1 and 2 worked. Season 1 and 2 worked weekly, but season 3 really felt, and Boba Fett and Obi-Wan.
Mhm.
And I think even Andor, although Andor you probably could have done in the 3 episode chunks, they work better all at once. I think they're falling into the bingey trap of it. Whereas instead of weekly shows that goes, oh, can't wait for next week, it's kind of like you're not getting the full story
Yeah.
because it's all one. It's basically a movie cut up into 8 parts.
Yeah. No, it's so true. It's interesting. It's a weird phenomenon, right? Like it's just like the episodic is like, oh yeah. It's like you either like it or you don't. But it's just like at the same note, like people it's weird how certain, I guess it's like when you're in a platform like Netflix or Disney Plus, you're just like, I would like to watch as much as I can possibly can. But if you're watching like I don't watch Vanderpump Rules, but I know it was a big issue, or not big issue, big talking point that like they were getting the finale in parts and all this, like a lot of people. And the same with Succession, right? Like it's just like, but are those things on regular TV or are they on streamers as well? Because I think they're not.
Well, okay,
Sure.
Succession is HBO.
Oh, it's HBO. Gotcha.
Yeah, so it'd be on Max after.
Mhm.
Vanderpump Rules. I had never heard of the show.
Mhm.
Landed, got in the car, driving home. Aaron's like, I'm gonna put on a podcast, and it was all about this Vanderpump Rules thing. I was like, what the hell is this? She goes, oh, a lot of drama on Vanderpump. I'm like, well, I don't
Yeah.
even know what that means. And then she's like, I've never seen the show, but I gotta watch this finale. I'm like, what is going on?
Yeah.
I haven't seen any of it. She watched it. I'm just like, I can't be bothered. I
Yeah.
play Lost Levels. But Lost Levels, by the way, like it's really hard. But I don't just play Lost Levels. I also play I played Zaxxon, PlayStation 2.
Cool.
I just was on like a retro kick.
Nice.
No, I've never heard of Vanderpump, but I think that's just on like Bravo or something in the States.
Yeah, it's
I
one.
think
Yeah.
that's what, yeah.
Yeah. So like
I think it's on
like,
Slice here and Slice.
so I think it's like when Ahsoka comes out, we should definitely consider that as well. It's like, is this? I mean, we'll watch it every week, but like, yeah, will it be better as a bingeable thing?
Like, look, I love we know I love the weekly shows, and it's better for us doing a podcast to have it weekly. But I really like Book of Boba Fett. I mean, yeah, when was that? Like Book of Boba Fett was the first one where I said, this really feels like if you watched it all at once, you would appreciate it a lot more than in the pieces. Especially when, it just felt that way. And Obi-Wan should have probably been a movie. Like Obi-Wan should have been a movie. I think they just should have made that a freaking. Here's your movie. Well, make it 3 hours on Disney Plus, but that probably should have been a movie. Andor is kind of the weird one where I think it works better still together. But when they released those first 3 episodes at once, I think they were onto something there. because if you just release the one, I don't know if people are obsessed with it as much as they are. Like I think because you start low and they're like, what am I watching? That's not Star Wars, right? But then by the time we got to the third one, we're like, like we're
yeah.
all losing our minds. So yeah, I don't know. I think we've talked about it a few times. They've got to figure out what they want. We like weekly. It benefits us, but Stranger Things, but like Netflix kind of changed the game on how people watch TV.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like, it's interesting. It's like, I think people will do whatever it takes to watch a show if they're very excited about it, right? Like, it's like, it doesn't matter how it's released or isn't released. If people are like, this is what the show we want to watch, like Game of Thrones was every week. So, and I think House of the Dragon as well. Like, it was every week. So it's like, I don't know. I guess it's like once normal terrestrial channels go away, then like it's just going to be a back and forth because it's
Last of Us was weekly.
Yeah, anything on HBO is weekly.
But Last of Us, Last of Us was also very episodic though. It was like this is one episode, this is the next episode,
sure.
This is the next episode. Like but what they did though was the ending would lead you to the next one. It was like but like it was every episode was almost the Nick Offerman one, it was a very self-contained episode, right?
Yeah.
Like they're all very self-contained. So it's just like it's a different. I haven't seen Game of Thrones except for the first season of the first.
Yeah.
But so I can't really comment because I don't even remember. But that was also from a different time. The first Game of Thrones, like that was before we were, Netflix got a hold of us, really, right? With that Game of Thrones. So I think I don't know if Netflix had a lot of shows yet,
but
like House of Cards, Card House, whatever it's called, with Kevin Spacey.
Yeah, that all came out at once though.
No, I know that's what started to change. It was like that show. And then they slowly.
Yeah, but like Succession, everyone's talking about that. I mean, it's one of the shows that everyone's talking about, and that came out weekly.
I'd like to know if that's like a weekly show too, though.
All HBO Max stuff.
But I mean, I mean, like the story within it is like.
Oh, I think so.
Yeah, so that's I just like Mandalorian season 3. It was all one, except for the Jack Black episode. It was all one long story. Like the first 2 episodes, I still say they felt like they were cut short, right? Like it was like, boom, what happened? Well, we're stopping. The next week's coming.
Yeah.
Whereas those episodic shows, they're beginning, middle, and end to the episode, and then they give you a little lead in. I haven't watched this section. I can't comment. Brian Cox is awesome though. X-Men 2, he's great.
Yeah, but it's
Zodiac?
like House of Dragon was episodic as well. Like, so it's, I think, but that's because HBO's like, we still have a channel, even though we have a streamer. It's like they come out at the same time, but it's just like we still want people to buy our cable package. Yeah. So it's like,
and that
once they move away from that, like then like it's like HBO is probably like one of the few holdouts, I guess. Now that NBC has Peacock, maybe that's a little. I've heard like they'll release stuff on the channels on one day, and then you'll get it on Peacock the next day or something like that.
Yeah, so the CW used to do that. It would be like on and the next day on the CW app or whatever it was. Weekly makes sense for the streamers, not Netflix. For the other ones though, because they want you to continue to subscribe, and the reason why. Bob Iger said no Star Wars movies on Disney Plus is because that's not going to keep anybody on Disney Plus. It's not going to bring people to Disney Plus, right? It's like, it's just going to be an added benefit and they're not going to make any money from that. Whereas Mandalorian, 8 weeks, they've got your money for 8 weeks because you're not going to cancel and then they're hoping that after that 8 weeks, Loki's got you for another 8 weeks or whatever. That's what they're hoping. And that's why they make it episodic. Apparently on Max, though, what was number one was, the Sex and the City show, the sequel show.
I always forget what it is.
That show apparently gave them their biggest boost of numbers because it was weekly, and so all the people that like Sex and the City were like, we gotta watch it, and they all signed on to HBO Max at the time, and I'm sure like they probably canceled it right after that too. Or they were clamoring for Kong versus Godzilla. I don't know. It was the same demographic. I don't know.
It's called And Just Like That. I
And
knew it was
Just Like
something. It was like a sentence of some sort.
And just like that's a good title though for like
Yeah.
just like that. You're not a kid anymore. I'm feeling it. Not a kid anymore. I'm looking death straight in the eye.
Oh, so this is somewhat Star Wars related, but not really. Well, my wife and I are watching the second season of Abbott Elementary on Disney Plus, and there's a Halloween episode where they just full out wear Marvel costumes and make reference to Marvel, and I'm like, you can't do this, and I'm like, oh yes, they can. They're an ABC show which is owned by Disney, which also owns Marvel. I was like, that's wild. Like they had literally had a kid dressed up like Thanos. And they're just like, baby Thanos, baby Thanos, baby. Like, it's just like, and it's like, they came out last year. Like, Endgame is like 5 years old at this point. Or I guess he could be the baby Thanos. But like, it's just like, I was like, that's cool. I like that. They're like, they didn't have to get in any trouble for this. I was like, that's sick.
Nope, probably just one phone call. Like, we want to do this. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
They have somebody like
So
checking it to make sure that they're not doing anything to like ruin the brand. And they're good to go.
I like that corporate use of resources where I'm just like, yeah, why not? So that was kind of cool. Yeah. So
I've never heard of that show. What's it about?
It's school, elementary school in Philly, and they go out of their way to mention Philly every like other episode. Like Gritty was on one episode, and they always mention the Eagles at some point. So it's like, and that is episodic where it's a 30-minute show where like you get a story that's wrapped up by the end and maybe a little bit will go on. So it's like, it's nice to watch those shows. You're like, yeah, this is like watching TGIF back in the day.
By the way, they need to bring back Hanging with Mr. Cooper.
Oh,
Can we
I
get
love it.
Hanging with Mr. Cooper back?
That's a really good point because Disney owns ABC.
Yeah, so they should own Hanging with Mr. Cooper.
And like
that was my favorite.
Oh yeah.
Remember when he got a job at Georgetown? And they're like, he's gonna go to Georgetown, but then he didn't take it. And the season premiere, he's like, I'm not going to Georgetown or whatever. I remember that. That was good.
I need to know, like, is like Family Matters isn't on Disney Plus, is it? No, none of those shows are.
It might not have been. Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, like, I guess it might be a whole like because I don't think Disney always owned ABC. But yeah,
but I feel like it was back then because I think they used to have like, we're at Disney World. Like they always went to Disney World. Those shows always went to Disney World or Disneyland. Always.
Boy Meets World is on here. That's one of them. No Family Matters, but it's older, so that kind of makes sense. Hanging with Mr. All right, I put a second G in Hanging, so hold on. Yeah, Mr.
A good one.
No, that'd be a great like buried thing in there. Oh, what am I saying? I was like looking up the Wes Anderson movies, and like he doesn't have every single one of his movies, so it's like probably a rights issue of some sort.
Probably.
But yeah. Anyways,
Star Wars is good.
Star Wars
Alex, is
good.
So, what do you make of these release dates of the 2 movies in 2026, one in 2027, I think 2025 or something?
Great.
Brock. Nope, not having it. I'm not into it. Not into it, Brock. I don't believe it. I think it's nonsense, and I think it's tomfoolery. And I don't think we're getting a movie on any one of those dates that was announced. Maybe a Filoni movie at some point will land on one of those dates, but
it makes the most sense.
I don't know. Like the Ray movie, I can't figure that one out. And then like they don't have a script. They got rid of the writer and brought somebody else. I know there's a strike. There's no script for that one.
Oh yeah, that's the best part. The strike.
Yeah, it's like, and then the Mangled one. I don't think he's written that yet. I think he was going to do that after the strike. The strike 2. So when's that coming up? I don't know. Filoni's not doing any writing right now. Like Mandalorian season 4 was postponed.
Yep. And
then the Taika Waititi one. This one gets me. If it is a Taika Waititi one, he says he can't figure out the middle of the movie, But at Celebration, Kathleen Kennedy said he was having trouble figuring out the end of the movie. So it sounds like they've got a first act. And then after that, I don't even like. So, and guess what he's not doing right now? Writing.
Yeah.
So I don't.
He's like, he's sitting at home writing a script where he's like, Star Wars Episode 10 by Taika Waititi. You enter, and I say hi, and you say hello, and then what happens? Seinfeld all over.
They all say "Hail Palpatine" like
Yeah,
nonstop.
yeah.
I think he could do a really. I haven't seen Thor: Love and Thunder, which everybody seems to hate out of the gate, but I saw Ragnarok. I liked it. I thought Jojo Rabbit was brilliant, and he did the other what's it called the Hunt for the Wildebeest one. That was very good. I really like those movies. So I think he could do a good Star Wars movie. He did a great job directing Mandalorian's the finale of season 1, but that was a Jon Favreau spearheaded thing. So I don't know. I have faith that he could do something, but if it's not ready, don't push it. And I feel like these release dates were pushed by Disney more than Lucasfilm. I think they were like, you need to announce movies now. And they're like, but we're not really ready. You're going to announce movies, Kathy Kennedy, or else you are fired.
I pointed in the right direction that time.
You did. But that's how I think it went down. I think it was like, you're releasing these movies on these days, and instead of Solo, so they're gonna do they're gonna do Chewbacca, a Star Wars story, May 2026. Brad Garrett plays Chewbacca.
It's like, it is flabbergasting why they're taking so long. It's like I think we all can agree that Andor looks like a movie. Like, so they have the capacity to make a movie.
See how much they paid on that?
I don't know. Money.
$250 million for that.
So that's like higher than a typical movie, give or take.
That's more than Mando. That's like I think that's more than like all 3 seasons of Mando. That's why it looks so good. It cost $200. It cost as much as Solo did to make, like before the reshoots.
But yeah, my point is, like, they have the people that can make things that look good to be on a big screen. So it's just like, just write. I know it's funny to say, can you just write something during a writer's strike? But like, I don't know. It just doesn't really make a lot of sense. But I like what they've been putting out, so I'm like, just keep doing what you're doing. I'll just hold to my usual soapbox and be like, until there's a trailer, nothing's happening.
Because I would love to be excited for these announcements, but I've been burned so many times. Like, I just don't.
2 months ago, if you said there's a video game coming and Ahsoka is coming, I'm like, maybe when there's a trailer. Now there's trailers, and I'm like,
they're real.
What's happening?
They're real. I can't believe Ahsoka's got a show. Ahsoka went from being the most hated character since Jar Jar Binks to getting a show that everybody is excited for. Who saw that one coming? Also, and it's bringing Rebels characters. And when Rebels first started, everybody hated Rebels because it was they're too round. It looks like a children's cartoon. Remember
it is
that?
a children's cartoon.
I know it is. But then everybody's like, actually, this is a really good show. Why is a children's show this good? And now they're coming to live action. But Hera, I don't know if you've heard the word on the street, Brock. Nobody likes Hera's eyeballs. Everybody's very upset over Hera's eyeballs. Everyone's like, why doesn't Hera have cartoon eyes? I'm just letting you know, this is the word on the street, is Hera's eyeballs are garbaggio.
Cool. Whatever, man.
Like, it's like no one can be happy though. You got to find something to get mad at. It's like, in Obi-Wan, I really liked Obi-Wan, but that piece of meat he cut in that first episode, he didn't wash his hands after touching it raw. I don't know.
Yeah.
I want to rewatch Obi-Wan.
Oh yeah, I think that show is definitely worth a rewatch. Like, just crush it in a day if you have a day to yourself to do nothing, or a weekend maybe. Did we ever talk about their closing the Galactic Star Cruiser?
No, it happened while I was gone.
Yeah, I'm like,
Disney Desi is going.
Yeah.
and she will let us know how it is.
Oh, please send as many videos as possible.
All the videos. I wasn't too bummed out about it
Nope.
for a few reasons. One, obviously the price tag, but two, it just this is a personal thing. It just wasn't something that I was interested in. I would rather go to Galaxy's Edge for like an hour or whatever, see people in costumes, drink a blue milk, and then leave. Like that's more of like I'm not into like the role play. I don't know. I don't do cosplay. I'm not that kind of. I'm not. That's just a personal thing. It's just not for me. So I was even if it was like affordable, I don't know if I would have been interested in going anyway.
I don't know. It's like I've heard of some people are going to go on the last few days, and it's still like for like 3 people to go for 2 days is like $6,000, and that was in American dollars. I'm like, no way, man.
You could buy an Apple AR headset.
Yeah, twice. But like it would be interesting to see. Wouldn't really want. I don't know what the effect of sleeping in a place. I know you don't spend the entire day there, but I feel like if you're gonna pay like $6,000 or what, let's say it's $4,000 per person to stay in a place where you can't see outside. I feel like you need to be in there as long as possible. Otherwise, like, because it's like you're not going to spend the whole day in the park. That's like I would love to stay in one of the resorts in Disney, but it's so expensive. And like when you're in Disney, you want to go to the park, so it's like, do I go? Like you're kind of forcing yourself to pay for 2 nights, or because like you're just going to stay one night and that's it. Like I don't feel like that you get fully. So like a Star Wars cruiser, where like, I'm sure it's awesome because I've been on Rise of the Rebellion, and that makes you feel like you have left the planet and are on a starship. It's crazy.
And so it's 20 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, and then you can do the rest of but like, it's like, I believe it's pretty cool, but it's like, they clearly overshot their concept on this, because it's probably like a little hotel that's inside a warehouse surrounded by, I would assume, LED walls. I would like, and it's just like, I bet I haven't heard of like any of like the, when you look out the window and it's like it's a monitor LED wall or whatever. If any of those like failed, is like, could you imagine going and then you look outside and they can't show you outside because all the monitors around it are off, and it just destroys the illusion or whatever. So it's just like, it sucks, but like it's a bummer that they can't like retrofit it into something else, like some kind of attraction that you could walk through.
Yeah,
I don't know. Maybe they will.
I just said, if I'm on vacation, I don't want to have to fight a war.
Yeah, exactly.
And Dale's saying that it's sold out now until it closes. So no, I think they shot. I think they overshot it, because I think that you get the diehard Star Wars fans in who went right away, right? The diehard ones with the money, they go right away. But then when they're gone, a normie's not going to spend that much money a night to go stay at a Star Wars, because they're like, I like Star Wars, I'll go on Star Tours. Like that might even be the max they want. So I think they overshot it, because average fans can't afford to go, and they're not going to go. Like, because I always say this about Star Wars Celebration after having gone to it. It's like, you spend a lot of money on the tickets, you spend a lot of money on a hotel, on possibly on a flight, on or travel of some sort. And that's your vacation. Like when you go, that's your vacation. Like you're booking that time, you're spending all of that money. And that's why I don't have a problem when they're like, we're not streaming it. Like, that's fine. These people spent like their hard-earned money, they saved up for it. And this hotel is like 17 celebrations of cost-wise. It's just like, that's like, people probably were like, I'll go in 10 years. I'm going to start saving up now. Like there might have been people like that, but they won't get to, because it was just, I don't know. You can make the argument that they could charge whatever they want, but they can't, and this is why.
Yeah, it's just that's insane. Like, it's just like, if 6,000 American dollars can get you a nice resort, maybe not on the park grounds, but very, very close, can get you 4 days of Disney and your airfare, depending on where you come from. Like, I just thinking I come from Toronto, right? But like, $6,000 is like a lot of money to spend on just 2 days in a place where you're like, I can't see outside. It's like,
But I think when you're
yeah.
there, the not seeing outside, you probably don't notice because you're so immersed by everything else around you, like the people in costumes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Which is what would freak like that. Honestly, that's what would freak me out is like people in costumes pretend to speak another language. I'd be like, stop it. I can't handle you right now. Just talk to me in English and take the mask off.
I'd be curious to see if like they're like, you can't stay longer than 4 or 5 days in that hotel because like you will go crazy because it's just like the inability to like, whatever.
What do you eat in there? Is it just the food from like Batu? Is it they just serve you like Batu food?
Oh no, it's Disney. They sell you, they save you. They're like, here's a Ronto burger, but it's like it's a burger. Like,
no, that's what I mean. Is it just the food they have at Galaxy's Edge, but they throw it on there and they're like, oh, it's classier here.
I would assume it's a little bit more like eating room service sort of thing, where it's like perhaps you get a quesadilla just called something different. You know what I mean? Like, so it's not like it's real food, I suppose, but like I don't know. No one ever really talked about it. I remember seeing pictures, but like no one really focused on the food. Maybe that was an issue. I don't know.
That's food I had. You recommended the Dole Whip while I was there. I didn't end up getting the Dole Whip. They did have it all over Vancouver, Dole Whip, oddly enough. I they get it again. They only had it one spot. But because the reason why I didn't get it was because I went to Sleepy Hollow Cafe because the Legend of Sleepy Hollow was my favorite. And I walked in and they had an ice cream sandwich, but it was a churro, was the bun. Nice. And I looked at it and I said, well, I've been walking 4,000 kilometers today carrying my 6-year-old niece around. I deserve this son of a gun. And I will tell you, there was nothing better than a churro ice cream sandwich.
My buddy went to, it's not Euro Disney anymore. It's like Disney Paris or whatever. Yeah. And he's like, yo, I love this place, but the food is terrible. I thought the food was supposed to be good here. I'm like, you're also in France. Like, I think you need to be, I think they probably have similar things, but it's just like you need to go to America for the proper Disney food experience. It's just,
the finer Disney cuisine can only be had in California or Orlando. Otherwise,
it sounds crazy, but
are you going to Disney California ever?
Oh, I want to. Hopefully,
yeah. I feel like that's like because you go to the you haven't because whatever, but like you've gone to the Orlando one a bunch of times. Is California next on your list?
It'll be there at some point. It's just easier to go to Florida because it's directly south from where we are, right? So,
a 3-hour plane, 4-hour difference on the plane.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, one day.
I haven't been to California. I've been to Universal Studios California in Orlando, but never Disney. I haven't done Disney California. One day I'd like to. Disney's fun. But they ruined Star Wars, and now we have the press. By the way, Black Series figures. Can we talk about this for 1 second before we move on?
Okay.
The heck are they so expensive? Like I walked in to the Walmart, and I was like, I'm gonna look at I haven't looked at a Black Series. I was like one was like $49.99, $50, and it wasn't like a big one. It was pretty small, and then they have. My boy Heavy from Mandalorian. I don't know what it is though because it's like all enclosed. I don't know if you've seen this. I don't know if it's Lego or if it's Black Series or what it is because they don't show you. There's just a picture of Heavy on the front, and it's all enclosed and it's like $20 or $30. I'm like, I don't know what that is. If someone could tell me what it is, maybe I'll pony up and I won't get it. Maybe I will. I don't know what it is, so I'm afraid of it. But anyway, the prices of everything is astronomical now, but Black Series, come on.
I don't know why. Some of them have gone up. Like, I remember the Jar Jar one always stuck at like 45, but 30 is always the going rate for most of those things. I feel like there's a series that came out that was sort of like that, not plastic, but like, what was the stuff? What were the figures you bought from Disney, the Disney store? What were they called?
Elite.
No, but like they were like metal. There was something.
Yeah, they're the Elite series.
No, but like what is that
Oh,
metal
diecast.
diecast? Thank you.
Sorry, I
So
thought.
maybe it was that. I feel like there was something like that. I don't know. It's just like it's
When I started those, they were the same. They were $25. They were the same price as Black Series. No, they were $2 more than Black Series,
mhm.
which was $25. Black Series was 22, and that because I bought Kylo Ren in both, and then they went up to 29, and Black Series went up to 29, and then Elite went up to 35. Right when I stopped, Elite went up to 35, and I was like, and then I got unemployed, and I'm like, I can't afford this anymore.
They
And so that's what's up.
they did release like a series of like the vaulted ones that like came out in like the blister
Yes.
pack instead.
Yeah.
I think those are slightly cheaper, but like since they started coming out, they've always been like you're spending a little extra. Like
Which is fine because they're a little bit more than a toy, but
Yeah.
I'm just saying like $50. It's like, come on. At some point, I would get the Saw Gerrera one for 30. I'm not spending $45 on Saw Gerrera. I love you, Forrest Whitaker, but I'm not spending $45 on your face. It's just not going to happen. Not today, anyway. All right, never tell me the odds.
Never tell me the odds.
Today's odds are brought to us by Patreon.
Patreon.com/Rebel Scum Podcast. If you like what we do and you think we're great, why don't you go to patreon.com/Rebel Scum Podcast and support us in any way you can. We greatly appreciate it. We like to talk about Star Wars, and we'll continue if you give us a little money. And we'll always love you a long time, like the following people: Heidi Feder, executive producer; Barry Brophy; Dennis Allen; Randy Kenobi; Mary Kristen Aton; Jeff Wilson; Phil Staniforth; Rez; Scott D; Josh Price;
Matt W., Frank Perkins, Neil Lowry, Cosmic Girl 02, Gleek Play 1, Disney Desi, Charlotte, Kayla Davis, Dale Erdman, Dana Nerds, and Sooner Thrawn.
I like how like my screen just illuminates me when I switch pages. Hotmail, not Hotmail.
I was on a video conference the other day.
Yep.
And I realized I was taking notes while I was on my laptop though. So I had like a split screen of like the meeting and then my notes. And then I noticed that you could see the reflection in my glasses, but you couldn't tell what it was, but it just looked like I was like, I hope no one thinks that I'm like browsing the internet right now.
Yeah.
Right now, because you could totally see like the screen change when I switched. It just got so much brighter.
Yeah.
So anyway, thank you, Patreon, for all of your support. It means a lot to us. We took a little bit of time off because I was away, and then were you busy? I was busy. Whatever. We just didn't do it.
Yeah.
Tired. Hey man, you know what? I'll say this: going to Vancouver, the time change destroyed me while I was there. Just like it ruined my life. And then coming back was easy, but getting there, I was like, that 3 hours, man, it was like throwing me off. I don't know. I'm old. Never telling you guys, Mandalorian season 4 will end with a cliffhanger that leads into the Filoni movie.
I like that a lot. If that does mean Filoni's movie is soon-ish.
Well, it would be okay. Let's say, so just for it, let's say Mando season 4 comes out Christmas 2024. So then you have Filoni's movie 2025 or 2026. So it'd be like the same period between a season to the movie.
The writer's strike might be in their benefit, but of course they're probably not writing any movies. So it's like, I guess like if they're like, well, we're on strike, but maybe you write something, maybe an hour a day. But then I guess that goes against the whole issue they're striking. I would like that to be 75% on that being the case. That would be fun.
Yeah, I'll go 71.2. I think it's like, why? I mean, maybe it won't be season 4, but yeah, I mean, why not? Like, why are you making season 4 if not to lead into this big event?
Yeah.
So, all right. Next on, at least 2 of the 4 announced Star Wars movies will not be released. They will never see the light of day. 2 of the we don't know what the announced movies are. There's only speculation. So 2 of those dates will not happen.
Yeah, I'm gonna go probably 75% on this as well. I'm just like, probably yes. Or like they'll find a loophole where like they'll push one back, or like it'll be a new project. It's like, oh, this is what it was supposed to be. And so I was just like,
Yeah, and they could be like, oh, and the writer's strike really kind of pushed things back
yeah,
further.
exactly. COVID,
Yeah.
writer strike.
I'm gonna go 73% because why did they even like just it'd be amazing. Remember Book of Boba Fett? Remember when we didn't know it was a thing, and then all of a sudden it was like, oh wow,
Yeah.
that would be awesome for a movie. If you walked into Spider-Man and one of the Spider-Verse movies, and you sit down, and then Star Wars hits the screen, they're like May 2025. Like, awesome, let's do it. That would be awesome.
They screw this up constantly. Like, why did they announce they were making a Fast 11 weeks before Fast 10 came out, which was supposed to be the end? Like, could you imagine watching Fast 10 and the ending leaves in a cliffhanger, and you're like, oh, they're gonna make another one. Boom. They don't do that.
10?
No, I just know about what happens.
I don't know what happens, but I know this. They did say though, like way before that, it was that after 9 they said there's gonna be like 3 more or something. But
Yeah.
why is Fast 11 called Fast 10 Part 2? Why is it called Fast 10 Part 2? Like what? They were like, whoever was writing them, like, what's the Roman numeral for 11? Anybody?
I'm out of ideas. X1.
I know no one knows. So like it's part 2. It's just part 2. So I haven't seen it. I was forced to watch number 9 while I was on vacation, and I honestly, Brock, I could not tell you what that movie was about. They go to space.
Family.
It's kind of like Star Wars. I don't know what it's about. Right now, I don't know what it's about. It's just like they're like,
about
we gotta
family,
go.
bro.
Like we gotta go to like Tokyo. I'm like, okay, I don't know why. And then Charlize Theron shows up, but she does nothing. She just like sits in a chair for the movie. You're like, what?
I was the villain last episode, so now I'm the good
I
person.
think she was still a villain. I can't figure it out. All right, final the Acolyte will have an Ewok in it in some capacity. We'll see an Ewok, not a main character, just like an Ewok will show up at some point in the show.
I hope so. I really hope so. And right now, I could say 99% that will happen because we don't know anything about the Acolyte. But I would love that.
I don't know if Brock froze or if I'm froze. Okay, you're back. I'm gonna. Did you give a percentage?
99%.
Wow.
Because we know nothing about the Acolyte, so I'm like, anything is possible.
Lucasfilm muted me. They muted me.
I will not be stifled.
No, she said something about George Lucas. I can't remember what, and people were like going nuts. She's like, everyone thinks George Lucas, but he had a team that helped him. And people are like, she doesn't understand Star Wars. I got to tell you something, though. The synopsis for it is like, I'm like, it still kind of seems like it could be the best show. It could be. It's funny, though, when she's like, the Jedi weren't perfect. And then people are like, yes, they were. I'm like, but the prequels were telling you that they were.
They literally point that out.
The point of the prequels is to show that they're not perfect. And you're arguing that they are. I don't get it. Like, it's cool. Like in the original trilogy, yeah, they were. Like, you thought they were. But the minute the prequels start, you're like, oh, these guys got problems.
Yeah.
Big time. I'm going full Brock. All right. Do you have news?
You know it.
All right. Here we go. We are going to. Heidi says the Fast and the Furious 9 was about fast cars. You got a fast car.
That's exactly what I was thinking. You got a fast car.
How do I do this? Hollow news. Da 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 da. Hollow news. Da da da. Gonna change the banner to hollow. Da 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 da. Again, I'm like that.
Hello news, the news you need to know right now. Where the F have we been? Well, here's a pretty spectacular F. Andor star Fiona Shaw almost got to say the first ever F-bomb in the Star Wars universe. During an interview with Variety director Benjamin Caron, revealed that Marva Andor's speech to fight the Emperor originally used a very different F word. But Disney wouldn't let us use it, he revealed, so we changed it to fight the Empire. I remember having a call with Tony Gilroy saying, are we going to get away with this? Unfortunately, they didn't, but it sounds as though the showrunner Tony Gilroy did put up a fight. In other directors, let's talk about James Mangold. Mangold has commenced publicity for the upcoming Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny film, which he directed. He sat down with IO9, briefly revealed today or this week how he pitched its take on the Star Wars universe. I've talked to Lucasfilm before and even worked a bit before on other projects. When I mentioned to Kathleen Kennedy the idea that I had about going backwards, real far backward, I was surprised that it excited her and the other wonderful people she worked with at Lucasfilm. For me, it's about I want to be part of the saga, but I also don't want to be holding so much lore in the air that you can hardly tell a story. And what I really wanted to do, what I told her was just, can we make a kind of 10 Commandments of the Force, a kind of origin story for how the Force came to be known, understood, wielded, and harnessed. Very fun. Let's hope he makes it. And in final news, perhaps there could be a twin sun of Tatooine. This week, an international research team announced a discovery of a Tatooine-like planet, which is orbiting 2 suns in our own galaxy, not so far away. The planet, which has been given the groovy name of Bebop-1c, was first announced in Nature journal by a team which included experts at the universities of Birmingham, London, St. Andrews, and Kiel. The planet was named after the project that discovered it, binaries escorted by orbiting planets. When a planet circles 2 stars like this, it's known as a circumbinary solar system, and Bebop-1c is not the first of its kind to be discovered. In 2011, scientists discovered that the very first circumbinary planet, Kepler-16b. In fact, that isn't this the first planet to be discovered circling the same 2 stars. That was Bebop-1c's neighbor found in 2019, TOI 1338b. What a catchy name. So that's really cool. Tatooine, it exists. You could go out and just stand on a sand dune, stare at 2 suns, and think about your life. And this has been your Hollow News. You're muted.
By the way, the F-bomb and stuff, unnecessary.
They should have done it because the F-bomb in Guardians and Galaxies works pretty good.
Yeah, Guardians is different from Star Wars though. It just
that's
doesn't
true.
It just doesn't need to be in Star Wars. And I always bring up, I haven't seen Guardians yet, but I bring up Logan, because Logan, there's he drops it a few times, and there's a few times
yeah,
you're Mangold. I'm like, you're just doing it because you can. It didn't feel organic enough in the moment. I'm like, it felt like they were forcing the word in there. And I think Andor would have been organic, but I just don't think that you don't need to do that in Star Wars. I just don't think you need to do that in Star Wars. When they said the S word, I was okay with that because I didn't really care. But yeah, when you start, it's just there should be a line, and you don't need to cross that line. If you want to put it in there, make something else.
Yeah.
But don't, because I love season 1. Keep coming back. All right, top 5.
Top 5. What's the top 5 today?
Oh, I wish I could bleep myself. I pretend to swear. It's top 5, and this is one you and I have been thinking about this one a long time. Top 5 books.
Top 5 books.
Star Wars books, not just any book. You can't just be like Tale of Two Cities. It's got to be Star Wars books because it's a Star Wars podcast. Let us know what your top 5 are in the comments below. If you've read 5 Star Wars books, some people have, some people haven't. I was in the chat while Brock was doing the Hollow News. I went on my personal YouTube account and I commented. All right, here we go. Number 5, Darth Maul's Shadow Apprentice. I think that's the one I'm thinking of. There's 2 Darth Maul books. One I like more than the other, but I'm just going to pretend it was that one. For argument's sake, I like Darth Maul. Aaron got me the book, and it was a lot of fun. I read it on a plane to Cuba, actually, Brock. I read it on a plane, and I like it. I like Darth Maul. Bring back Maul.
My number 5 is going to be Catalyst, because that's a real good book to read just prior to Rogue One. It was really nice, and it's oh, wow, this could have been way cooler, this movie. Well, yeah, it was pretty cool, though.
My number 3 is Revenge of the Sith. It's the best novelization.
Your number 3 or number 4?
4.
Okay.
4. It's actually number 3 on my list, but I wanted to change the 2.
I see.
So I said 3, and it's number 4 is Revenge of the Sith. It to me is the best novelization of all the movies because the little tidbits it gives you. Last Jedi is really good too, but I think Revenge of the Sith is a little bit better. It's a little bit stronger of a book because you really get to know what Anakin and Vader is thinking a lot of the time. So it's the same as the movie, but it's very different.
Oh, nice. That's always cool. That was like the novelization of Last Jedi. Last Jedi? Yeah, where like it opens and it's like Luke having a dream about not being part of the rebellion and being married. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, Revenge of the Sith it's not like that, but it's kind of got that vibe where you're like, you just learn so much more. There's so much more detail to it. Because I have all the prequel books. And that one, like I got them when they came out, and that one was like, I'm like, what is that? Like the first 2 are fine, but that one was like, oh, this is actually a novel. Like it doesn't feel like it's just a movie. It felt like more.
My number 4 was gonna be like Tales from Jabba's Palace or Tale from Mos Eisley, but they've been replaced with new Disney era ones. Like from a certain point of view, I'm gonna go with the Empire Strikes Back one. It was really, really cool. I can't remember which one stood out the most for me. I know that like in these books, anything that Yoda pops up, it's pretty cool. Like it's something he always reveals something. They're like, oh, like all these side characters are cool, but like you get a little bit more to the Star Wars like main storyline with him because he's an interesting character. So that's my number 4.
I have not read any of those books yet. Spoiler, they're not on my list. Number 3 is Battlefront Twilight Company, the first Battlefront book. They made 2. The first one, I think, is one of the most underrated Star Wars books of the new era. I mean, not High Republic aside, like when they were first coming out with books, it's a lot of fun, and it wasn't what I expected. It was more Rogue One than Rogue One.
My number 3, I'm gonna go with old expanded universe. I'm gonna go with oh god, why is it completely flying out of my head? The first Thrawn, the book with the first Thrawn. So
Heir
to the Empire. Thank you.
Oh my god, it's on my list like a freaking
boom.
Those books aren't on my list.
And like I've said this before, reread it and just be like, remember that they wrote this before the prequels came out and all the things that they hadn't figured out yet. And you're like, yes. So
damn it, it's not on my list, and now I kind of want to rework my list, but I can't change it. Number 2 is Lost Stars.
Lost Stars, yeah.
Freaking great book. Like it's under the radar now because it really has nothing to do with anything, but that's kind of the charm of it, right? It's kind of like harmless and fearless in what it does, and it does it well.
Yeah, the best ones are the ones that sort of like exist but don't reflect on any of the main characters. So like yeah,
I really like Lost Stars.
My number 2 is gonna be Light of the Jedi, the Charles Soule first book in the High Republic series. Really great book. Really launched it. I think some people say it's kind of like hasn't really hit that same peak that first book did, but it really established a interesting part of Star Wars and could be something serious if they keep pushing on this. So
one day I'll read High Republic. One day.
Nice.
I don't know when that day will be, but one day I will. All right, and my number 1 is Lords of the Sith.
Nice.
It's again kind of like Revenge of the Sith. You get inside Vader's mind a lot, and this was the book for me where I said, remember when I watched the original trilogy when we first started the podcast? I watched the original trilogy on VHS, and I was like, oh my god, I really connected to Anakin and the prequels, and this book really helps bridge the gap between prequel Anakin / Vader and the Vader we know from the originals, because you get in his mind. And while he's doing things, he talks about Padme, and you kind of I can't remember who wrote it, but they did a great job tapping into like Vader and the Emperor, and Vader's like can tinker and maneuver, and Cham Syndulla is the main protagonist in the novel as well, which is fun.
Nice. My number 1's going to be Shadows of the Empire because I think like books.
Oh my gosh.
Books are really good when they link to some other kind of, I mean, obviously all the Star Wars things link, but you know what I mean? Like, it's like you play, a different type of media or watch a different type of media, and then it links with this book, and she's like, "Oh, that's fun."
I'm reading it right in my list. Okay. I didn't have that is the best Star Wars book. Shadow of the Empire. I'm doing top 6, Brock. I'm changing it to top 6. My number 1A is Shadow of the Empire. How did I not even? It's because we spent too much time thinking about this topic. Oh, that is just ridiculous.
Looking up, what was the first Star Wars expanded universe? Splinters of the Mind's Eye. Right.
I have that one. Yeah.
Yeah.
I own that book. I bought it. I was gonna say recently, but it's probably been 7 years since we started this podcast. Is when I bought it. It's a book. I'll say that it's a book. Anyway, those are top 5. Let us know what your top 5 books are. I probably forgot more of them, and I'm going to get more and more upset as time goes on with this. But we got to wrap it up. We're going too long. You've got to get back to Gatsby.
Yeah.
So it's happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Gatsby!
Yeah. That was like a
8 years
great
old.
party.
8 years
Great
old.
party. Great party. Looks like a great time. Anything else you want to say?
No.
Nah, it's all good.
Not really. I'm excited for hopefully Star Wars in the near future. Definitely by August, right? So
August 23rd. I'm upset because I'm on pat leave in August. Like if they would have went right away, I would have had like 4 weeks of doing it. And I think I go back to work on like the 23rd of August. I think that's like my day back is the day Ahsoka. Like, come on, Lucasfilm was not looking out for me at all.
How rude!
I can't wait. I really can't wait for Ahsoka. I think it's going to be.
Yeah.
There's so much going on. Filoni. I think we're going to really see Filoni at his full peak Star Wars now. And so can't wait.
Noise.
All right, Brock. You were always scum. Thanks everybody
Rebel
for watching.
scum.
Brock, you were always scum again.
Rebel scum.
Bye, guys.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up on our video. As always, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Rebel Scum Podcast, for all the latest videos.